Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about why does the community want fresh servers for TBC Classic. Before you get your knickers in a twist, I'm not saying that the current Classic WoW servers that are live right now should be totally deleted and wiped, or just kept as they are and not progress into TBC. Those servers should progress into TBC, there should be continued servers, but what the community wants is a couple of fresh servers per region. You may be thinking, well, nobody I've talked to wants fresh servers. Well, a lot of people do. Trust me, a lot of people do. There are a number of issues in Classic WoW that people really do not want to be a part of. I understand that some of you do not have the time to play on a fresh server and level up all the way from level 1 again. Fair enough. Neither do I, to be honest, because I'm working so much on my YouTube channel, I barely ever actually have time to play the game, but I would put up with that slower level of progression, getting to level 60 or 70 slower than everyone else for a much better TBC experience overall. So first of all, let's talk about the issues with classic servers. You're probably sick of hearing about this, but for people who don't know, people who are returning to TBC, I know a few people who are that I talk to, this is what's wrong with Classic WoW, and it's why people want fresh servers. So because there's no AoE limit in Classic WoW, there have been some crazy mage exploits when it comes to gold farming, and what people are doing now is basically selling paid character services with these mage boosters, which is extremely inflating the economy. I'm not saying that every mage who does these boosts sells that gold in the future for real money, but a lot of them are. And in an economy when there's more virtual currency being farmed, like World of Warcraft gold, the cheaper it becomes on dodgy dodgepot websites. And when the cheaper gold is, okay, the more expensive your basic reagents become in the game on the auction house, because the value of the virtual currency, which is gold, depreciates. It's basic inflation. It's not very complicated. Right? Look at your history. Germany after World War I. That's essentially what is happening right now on Classic WoW. As an example, your Greater Shadow Protection potions would normally cost about 3 to 5 gold in vanilla WoW. Now they're costing more, 10 to 15 gold. And when they came out, they were selling for like 20 gold. It was pretty ridiculous. It was very expensive to do. It still is very expensive to do a Nax Rammus run if you need, stacking up all your consumables. Second big issue is the botting epidemic, which doesn't seem to be getting any better, doesn't seem to be going anywhere at all, because these bots are not getting banned. You can see one bot in the open world and then see him later at a higher level bracket. They're just not going anywhere, they're not getting banned, okay? And I listened to a recent Blizzard interview that just came out. They claimed that they are banning thousands a week, thousands of bots a week, and they are doing their best. Okay, yes, they are doing their best. That's what they said in the interview. So, if this is their best, we are doomed. Okay, the issue is not going to get any better. And these bots, again, they're making loads and loads of gold, which is going to be sold for real money. Honestly, Blizzard's approach to the botting situation kind of reminds me of UK government's approach to COVID. Do nothing. Right? Claim to the public that you're doing your best, this and that. But in reality, you're barely doing anything. Let's move on. So how will this affect us going into TBC? Now, the issue is, in TBC there's a lot of amazing crafted gear, which is like best in slot for half of the expansion. We're talking Frozen Shadow Weave, Spell Strike, Lionheart's weapon, sword, whatever you call it, Storm Herald, everything like that. Honestly, the best way to progress your gear in TBC is honestly just to make gold, okay? Now, a lot of these items require, first of all, primals, like Primal Mana, Primal Life, Primal Earth. Well, actually, Primal Earth is one of the cheaper ones, but anyway. The only way to get these items is to kill elementals in the open world. There's a few other methods that we can talk about in a future video, but obviously that is going to be locked down massively by bots. Bots are going to be farming those elementals just like they have been in Classic WoW, for fire protection potions and everything like that. It's going to be like that issue 10 times, like times 10. I remember trying to farm elementals in Classic WoW at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and there were still people doing it at that time. There were still bots doing it at that time, right? It's insane. Another thing that could happen is you can essentially use these primals, so you can use a bot to farm all these primals, and then you can make even more money with those primals by crafting them into particular items, like spellcloth items. So you've got stuff like Shadow Weave Cloth, which requires, I'm pretty sure, a primal shadow or something like that, and you know, that it sells for a truckload of gold. You can only make it every 3.5 days too. And you've also got primal mites, which are probably going to be selling for like 1,000 gold in TBC Classic because of the inflated economy. So what we've got is a great gold flip for people to exploit the system to make truckloads of gold almost passively. You don't even need to do that much botting. I mean, obviously everyone wants to craft this gear. You could just say, well, not everyone has to craft that gear, but the thing is, like, most people do, because for the people who do craft this gear, they're going to be topping the damage meters, and then if you're getting totally owned on the damage meters because you haven't crafted this gear, you know, the game just feels less satisfying, less fun. I guess you could turn off recount or details, whatever you use, but still, you always want to feel useful in your raid group, and when you feel like you're being useless, it's kind of like not that much of a pleasurable experience. But the issue is that only extremely rich people with lots of real money dollars, pounds, whatever, to spend on gold are going to be able to craft this gear, or people who have immense amounts, you know, an immense amount of free time. And what this does is it increases the gap between the hardcore and the casual player. Now, I definitely think there should be a gap, okay? You know, the more you play your character, the more time you invest into a video game, the more powerful your character should become, and you should be more powerful than people who don't spend as much time in the game. But this gap should not be gigantic, to the point where it creates a negative experience for the average player, okay, to the point where they can't even find a raid guild, for instance. Then obviously you've got to factor in that people who are extremely rich in real life are just going to have a general advantage when it comes to playing in World of Warcraft, because they're going to be able to spend all their money on real gold, and because it's so cheap now that, you know, they're just going to get so rich, and they're going to get so much more powerful than the average player just simply by the fact that they got a bigger bank account, okay? And you may be thinking, well, I don't even know anyone who buys gold, and barely anybody can be buying gold, surely it's not that much of a problem. And I think, no offence, you've got your head in the sand, okay? More and more people are giving in and buying gold. I'm hearing it everywhere. I'm hearing it in multiple communities, multiple discords and everything like that. To be honest, these days it's barely considered an evil thing. Okay, and a lot of streamers are being very open about buying gold now, right? Which is atrocious. Like, buying gold should be seen as an extremely negative and evil thing to do, because it destroys the real game economy of World of Warcraft. But now people are just really casual about it because it's so easy to do, and honestly it's kind of needed now to just get by. If you want to clear Naxxramas, honestly, you should probably just buy gold because it's so much easier for you to do that. Or do you want to spend hours and hours farming every week, which you do not have time to do because you got a full-time job, etc, etc. So yeah, it's becoming less and less of a, you know, it has a lot less stigma. Now let's move on to other issues before I start getting really angry and stuff. So another issue is the level 58 boost. Okay, as much as I like the idea of essentially getting a free level 60 character, this system can be exploited very easily for methods that we've just previously discussed. So what gold sellers can do is they can easily buy multiple accounts. They only have to pay the £10 subscription, which is basically nothing. Okay, is it? Yeah, it's still £10, isn't it? So, and then what they can do with those accounts is just get them leveled up with, you know, the professions to start creating crafting cooldowns like Primal Might and like Spellcloth, okay? It won't be very difficult to set up a character that can just craft a Primal Might and a Spellcloth cooldown every 3.5 days. It's not very difficult. And then you're essentially creating a passive source of income, exploiting a gold flip in the system. You could even make gold without even going to farm the Primal Mites yourself. Well, not the Primal Mites, the Primal Earths and, you know, all the other Primals. You could probably just gold flip the Primal Might very easily, make a little bit of gold. And if you had enough characters, it would be a truckload of gold that would more than pay off that subscription fee. But either way, these gold sellers, they're going to have truckloads of bots farming these primals anyway. And you also have non-botted accounts who essentially cannot get banned because they're not botting, like Chinese gold farmers. I know that's for the kind of tagline they're given, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're not all Chinese. Anyway, they'll all be stacked up in a big office building, just playing World of Warcraft all day, farming primals, and then trading those primals to their characters with the professions, gold flipping all those primals into more gold with primal might and spellcloth cooldowns, and again just making truckloads of gold. Stay safe, and Hamster Wheel have made really great videos about this topic in more detail. You should go and check those videos out later. A couple of things I wanted to add is obviously first of all the issue with Chinese farmers, and then there's a couple of other things. So first of all, I think primal might are probably going to make even more gold than the spellcloth cooldowns because it can be gold flipped so easily. And then you can actually gold flip like primal earths into primal whatever, because there's like a transmute cooldown that actually turns certain primals into other primals, so you can really exploit alchemy to make loads of gold. Anyway, and obviously you also actually only need level 60 to get the cooldown for primal might, right? You need level 68 to get the transmutation specialization, which is a bit more of an effort for a botter to do, but not out of reach, to be honest. And yeah, you can just get loads of characters level 60 with his character boost and be making loads of primal mites very easily. And if I'm going to be extremely pessimistic, I honestly think the existence of a level 58 character boost basically confirms that fresh servers are never going to exist. But let me explain why. So first of all, they wouldn't introduce the character boost on a fresh server, would they? Because it wouldn't make any sense, right? Which means they wouldn't make any money from fresh servers, because they cannot sell that character boost on a fresh server. Plus, they would have to spend money, you know, putting those servers up. So from a financial standpoint, fresh servers would only cost Blizzard money. They wouldn't make Blizzard money in any shape or form. You could make the argument that, oh, but more people would subscribe if they knew that they were going to get fresh servers. Well, let's be honest, people want TBC Classic so much that people who would prefer fresh servers are just going to go on continued servers anyway. I doubt we're going to get a load of people from the private server community totally boycott TBC Classic to go and play on private servers. You know, I doubt that's going to happen, okay? These people, everyone like me who wants fresh servers, we are just going to play on continued servers anyway. So, from a financial perspective, yeah, fresh servers would just cost Blizzard money, and let's be honest, most game developers these days, and even developers, can you even call them that these days? They're just all accountants, they're all driven purely by decisions made in a meeting, or where there's about 5 accountants who've turned up. There's probably like 5 accountants and 2 game devs in every meeting. You know, accountants will probably always outpopulate game developers in any kind of business meeting. Honestly, it is an absolute shame, because I think a fresh TBC server would be an absolute godsend. It would be so good to play in a fresh server again. Totally fresh economy, totally fresh community. It'd be awesome to do all the low level dungeons again, all the way up until level 60. You know, just a massive factory reset on Classic WoW. Everyone would love this, okay? You may be thinking barely anyone would even bother playing on these servers, but they would, because a lot of people in the private server community are used to rolling on fresh servers over and over again. And plus, they could introduce a number of systems to make it less of a chore. This is how I think they should do it. Like, first of all, I think they should add a little bit of a cheeky XP boost. Okay, it wouldn't go amiss, let's be honest. They do it for their anniversary event, so I mean, they may as well do it for this. Like, why not? 20% XP boost. I mean, why not, at the end of the day? It would definitely encourage more people to play these fresh servers. I also think they should actually launch these fresh servers during a pre-patch. I know you may be thinking that's an absolute heresy, because that wouldn't be a proper fresh server, but one of the issues that people probably haven't considered is the imbalance when it comes to battlegrounds and arenas. Okay, so people, say for instance a fresh server is launched on the launch of, you know, TBC Classic, then people who went on the continued servers who are serious about arena would have a massive advantage over people who didn't. Alright, so I think arenas would be very imbalanced, and I think a month before is not, you know, the server isn't going to like totally implode and destroy itself when it comes to its economy in a space of a month, and it'll give everyone just a chance to like get up to level 60 before the game actually launches, so everyone's on more of an even playing field. And then I think they should introduce the level 58 character boost later on, at the same time that they introduce boosts for Draenei and Blood Elf. By the way, they are introducing boosts for Draenei and Blood Elf later on. They did confirm that in the interview that I listened to last night, and I presume that's going to be in Phase 2. So the reason why I say that, as much as I do not like the character boost, but it will be the only thing to give Blizzard an actual incentive to do fresh servers if they could see if they're actually going to make money from it, because they would make like a resurgence of gold, sorry not gold, of real money if these like big character boosts came in, you know, into phase 2 of the fresh servers, and that will probably give them a decent enough incentive for them to actually consider doing fresh servers. That's the only way. It's the only language developers speak now. It's money, okay? So as much as I think the level 58, you know, character boost is a negative thing for the game, it's literally the only way they would ever do fresh servers. I don't think they would do them without the character boost being introduced later on. So anyway, moving on. The last thing I really wanted to add is obviously the Fresh Crusade is launching today as I'm making this video and uploading this video at 6 o'clock. I am going to be streaming it, so if you want to tune in, please do. Fresh Crusade, essentially, it's not a private server or anything like people keep, you know, having a go at me about. It's not a private server. It's essentially a community-driven fresh server event. They're all going to be essentially, you know, re-rolling on a really low populated server to create that fresh server experience again for TBC. It's going to be interesting to see the, you know, the low level zones massively populated again, so be sure to tune in. It'll be interesting to observe. But anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.